Before we begin, thank you very much to Stephen G for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you so much for your generosity. Really do appreciate the support. You are holding my intro hostage. All of you are. I am now stuck doing shout-outs into May, so thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the generosity. It does mean a lot to me. You see, one of these days you're all gonna stop because you miss my intro that much. I know you are. It's a matter of time. Eventually, you're just gonna want to hear it again. This will stop. But that day is not today. Today is Transformers Rise of the Beast trailer drop day. That's the day it is. We finally have a second trailer to give us some idea of what this movie is. And, okay. We definitely have an idea of what this movie is now. So, obviously, if you want to go in completely spoiler-free on the movie and just sit down and enjoy all the spectacle that is a big-budget live-action Transformers movie, this is going to be very spoiler-heavy. So, you can bow out now. I'm not sure why you clicked on the video. So, just in case, right? We will be discussing this trailer. However, I will not be airing the trailer because I don't want Paramount to get me in trouble. So we're just going to look at some screen caps and we're just going to talk about what we are actually getting out of the trailer. And we're going to break it down a lot. So, first shot, I actually like seeing what we're seeing. Like, it's just basically just Maximals wandering around in the forest / jungle, whichever this one it turns out to be. It looks nice. Like, they're actually well incorporated into the environment. I actually believe them as mechanical animals that are used to traversing the woodlands. Okay, yeah. I mean, and Primal swinging through the canopies is interesting, considering the trees can apparently hold a gigantic gorilla made of metal. So we're talking, probably double-digit tons as far as weight goes. But no, just swing around, swing through the trees. I'm sure it makes sense. There's a lot going on in this movie. Now, I'm skipping over a lot of the stuff that we've already seen. I'm going to try and keep it to the more interesting things. We apparently have a MacGuffin. Now, there's some like intentional shaping to this. You can see like the triangular shape on the sides. It's vaguely Matrix in appearance. No idea what it is. It does seem to send out some kind of signal into space, whatever it may be. But yeah, we've got Mystery MacGuffin again, because that's what live-action Transformer movies always need to have. Unless your name's Bumblebee. Bumblebee didn't need a MacGuffin. Bumblebee was the MacGuffin. No, we didn't need it there, but apparently we're back to MacGuffin storylines. Though this one doesn't seem as major. This one does not seem like the crux of the whole movie like a lot of them have been previously. No, it just sends out a signal, and you could. There's no easy way to do this. It's Unicron. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. This is a Unicron movie out of nowhere. All right. So, okay, now we basically know what's going on. I want to make sure I get this right. So if we can go over to Twitter real quick, because a friend of mine has been posting pretty heavily on this. Yeah, I just want to make sure because I've got a bunch of people who have been like speculating on the trailer here. But I've seen a lot of, okay, so it's Grimlockamus, so at Chrome Tyranno that's been doing a lot of this, and I kind of agree with a lot of his speculation. So there are actual like interviews out now that started after this trailer dropped that do actually confirm that Unicron is attacking another planet. It seems to be the home planet of the Maximals that gets attacked by Unicron, which is probably where we're seeing the Unicron devastation in the trailer. So you can kind of figure out the plot from there. The Terracons are the heralds of Unicron. They come to Earth after discovering that the Maximals are present, probably because of that like that MacGuffin we saw just a couple slides ago. And Primal's warning Prime of the impending arrival of Unicron. So, aside from that, we've thrown Maximals and Terracons into the mix here in the normal Transformer scheme, we're also throwing Unicron in. Which brings out the question of why is Lorenzo di Bonaventura, the guy, like the producer behind the whole franchise at this point, why on earth is he still trying to convince us that this is somehow tied to the original movie series? He's so back and forth. He's like this on Bumblebee 2, where he wouldn't really say if it was a spin-off, a sequel, or a prequel, or a reboot. He's trying to convince you it's everything because he wants all movie fans, like whether you wanted to see a continuation, whether you wanted to see a prequel, or whether you wanted to see a reboot, he wanted to make sure you went to see the movie. So he said it was everything. And he's been kind of doing the same thing in the interviews for Rise of the Beast, where he's talking about this as if this is still somehow a prequel to 07, even though in the original Bayverse, Earth was Unicron. A plot twist they ripped right from Transformers Prime. And nope, here's Unicron, big planet like he's supposed to be. So, yeah, this is definitely out of universe. This is definitely alternate universe. This is definitely not connected to the 07 movie in any way, shape, or form. So the idea that he's actually hinting at that in interviews is absurd at this point. So it's Unicron. On top of everything that I've been concerned with in this movie, all the added elements that we're throwing in, now we're also throwing Unicron into the mix as well. We got a little bit more to say about Unicron, but we're going to continue. We got a little bit more of Noah. I'm still not seeing as much of Noah and Mirage in these trailers as I would like to. It does show them communicating a little bit. We actually get to hear Mirage's voice. Okay, so we actually get to hear a lot of voices in this one that we haven't heard yet. So that part's cool. We get to get a little bit more info on these characters and get more of a feel for them. I'm hoping that this relationship these two have is stronger than Bumblebee and Sam. And I feel like that's going to be the case because it feels like, at least from the trailers, that Mirage spends a lot more time in robot mode than Bumblebee did in the 07 movie in Revenge of the Fallen. So it's not just going to be like the garage is actually Bumblebee's doghouse where he has to stay until Sam yells for him. No, this feels like it might actually be something more akin to the Bumblebee movie where the two are actually friends and like one isn't treating the other like a pet. So hopefully that's the case we're going to get here. We see an Optimus Prime that is intentionally hiding from humans. So he was upset that a human got brought into their hideout. So we're playing the actual robots in disguise card here. So I actually really do prefer this because I hated what the Bayverse did, which was over militarize Transformers and add in a whole bunch of basically throw in a whole bunch that we didn't need. You know, I hate storylines where the obvious good guys are treated like bad guys, and that was like half of the original Bay movies, now that I think about it. So, yeah, I'm happy they're in disguise here. I'm happy that is not going to be an issue, and there's no element of that in the movie as far as we can see. Yeah, more interaction. Yeah, we have Bumblebee just hanging out. There is some Bumblebee focus in here, but not a lot. We got an extended version of that driving fight scene on the mountain, which there's some actual really cool really cool stuff going on with just basically a really complicated chase scene with a lot more gunfire and Transformers randomly flipping out and transforming in the process. We actually get to see Nightbird and her transformation. So not bad. You know, so it's, you know, we're getting a little bit more bit by bit. We get a nice shot of Terracons washing up on New York, apparently. Yeah, we get to see a little bit more we get to see more of the Maximals in motion. So it does look like they're going to appear a little bit more than I was expecting. But the cool thing was hearing AirRaiser, who sounds like she's trying to be a voice of reason amongst Autobots and Maximals alike. So in some of the extra stuff that we've seen, AirRaiser is the one that leads the Autobots to the Maximals and to Optimus Primal. So I'm curious about like her role, if she's the peacekeeper between the two sides, if she's the negotiator here. I hope so, because it would be it's not a bad role for AirRaiser to take on. It was pointed out on Twitter somewhere. It's going to be really weird when an audience has to accept that there is just a character named Optimus Primal, not just Optimus Prime. It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny. I'm curious about how if they might even try to explain that in the movie. Like, what are you ripping? Are you my knockoff monkey? I don't know. Don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I put this shot in, I picked this slide basically to show, yes, they did not change Wheeljack. There was some speculation that the Wheeljack we saw previously was like a early design, or that they were going to change his design to be more G1 based on bad fan response. That has literally only happened one time. You know, they only changed the design once because of bad fan reaction, and that was the original 07 movie. Everything is well established now, and frankly, we've been doing this for 15 years, right? You know, Ironhide looked nothing like G1 Ironhide. Ratchet didn't look like G1 Ratchet. Sideswipe didn't look like G1 Sideswipe. It's just what the movie does. If you don't like it, that's fine, but don't whine like this ruined your childhood, or start throwing these fits online trying to get them to change it at the last minute. There's nothing wrong with the design. It's weird, and I'm a little bit concerned about how they're going to portray him, if he's just going to be like stereotypical 90s nerd with a big rimmed glasses. But I don't mind it, because it's not like it replaces the original Wheeljack or anything. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. And the people who are just so upset need to like remember how this franchise works in the movies and just move on, and don't let it bother you so much. Alright, so this scene of Unicron's maw about to chomp down into this planet, this is not Earth. This is obviously not Earth. This is going to be the Maximal homeworld. And that makes a lot of sense. This is probably how the movie is going to start. You're probably going to see the destruction of this planet to start with. Same as the original 86 movie, now that I think about it. We're going to start by showing exactly what Unicron can do and why you should be scared of him. Makes sense, really. Yeah, I get the feeling that Unicron is not going to be a one-movie thing. He can't be a one-movie thing, because how do you set up Unicron and stop him in one movie without some magic MacGuffin like The Matrix? No, you've got to earn that now. Nowadays, in storytelling, you have to earn that. You can't just say, well, he's the chosen one. He has the fancy doohickey that lets him open the... You can't do that. You can't get away with that kind of storytelling today. In the 80s, fine. Today, no. So I expect a long process. Like, I expect this... We know that Rise of the Beast is expected to be the beginning of a new Transformer trilogy. So I'm genuinely hoping that is a 3-movie thing to deal with Unicron, because he really should be treated like Transformers Thanos. You know, he is the world ender, literally. So he needs to be treated like a massive threat that takes multiple movies in order to figure out how to handle. Movie 2 needs to be the Autobots exploring for a way to... You know, the movie 1 needs to be stopping the threat, the immediate threat of the Terracons, but Unicron is looming. Movie 2 needs to be them trying to find out how to stop Unicron with some other Terracon presence stopping them. You know, potentially a new take on movie Galvatron. So we'll see. We'll see. I feel like, and then like movie 3 obviously is when the big guns come in. You throw a redone Fallen, maybe throw in Nova Prime or something, and that's when you figure out, okay, this is how we stop Unicron. So that's kind of where I'm expecting this the process of this movie to go. I hope his face looks better, because it looks like his nose is super wide. It just looks like he has this gigantic nose that is not intimidating in the least. Yeah, I feel like it should have just been the big eyes. But it looks like we might get like a very small glimpse of what Unicron may look like in robot mode. And if he looks different, remember, it's just the movies. It's just what the live actions do. Here's something that surprised me. A lot more times I saw daytime shots in this trailer. Not a lot, a lot of the original movies were nighttime shots. They're obstructed. They were, they were either like sandy in, like in Revenge of the Fallen, or lots of debris and lots of chaos like they did in Dark of the Moon. Getting to see Transformers in broad daylight without a whole lot of oversaturation to them like the Babe movies did, they look a lot better. They do look a lot better. Bumblebee gets a cool shot where he's blowing up eggs falling out of the sky. I don't know why the Easter Bunny's a villain in the movie. I think it's already complicated enough without throwing that in. A good shot of Scourge, and a good sound of Scourge, too. Scourge has almost like an old school Transformer voice with this heavy reverb effect to it that I actually really like. He does come across nice and intimidating in this trailer. We actually get some semblance of the human side of this. There is a family story going on here. So that's nice to see. Okay, yeah, Bumblebee gets impaled. So that's a thing that happens. I mean, they're not going to kill off the franchise character, but it's pretty rough to see him that ineffective in a fight. Okay, what else we got here? We got some all-sparky energy shenanigans going on. It looks like Scourge is at the center of that, but it's very hard to tell. We have mysterious ancient things on Earth connected to Cybertron, which is, again, something that is very traditional in the live-action movies. It just feels like so much of Cybertron, it feels like whatever chute Cybertron ejects its garbage from is just perpetually aimed at Earth for some reason. Like, this is their landfill. I love that to be a Transformer theme someday. Why does everything from Cybertron land on Earth? And, well, you're our garbage dump. We didn't think this place was inhabited. We didn't think we'd be hurting anything. I'm sorry. Sure, we'll just start picking up all these ancient weapons and relics. I'm sorry about this. Yeah, I mean, it'd be funny. It'd be funny. I don't know if you can make a movie about it, but it'd be funny. Once again, daytime shots. It's cloudy, so nothing's glaring. Everyone looks good and distinct, which is really, really nice for a change. It does actually appear that the Maximals are spending a lot of time in the beast mode. There was no shot of them at all in robot mode at any point in this trailer, which is, again, weird, because I do want to see them in robot mode, It's ironic. There's no Energon thing here, but it seems like they insist on having to spend as little time in robot mode as possible, which is kind of like Season 1 of Beast Wars, but there's really no reason other than maybe they're just used to it at this point. Like, they might all have the Tigatron thing going where they just prefer being animals. All right, I could get that. And then we end off with some really good shots of the battle scene. The battle scene is not too complicated, not too cluttered up, so you can actually tell what is going on for the most part. You've got Rhinox rushing into battle with RC on his back. You got really nice action shots going on. It looks like a super intense battle. There are Scorpion drones going on, so that's where Scorponok comes in. I don't know if they're Terracons or Predacons in that context, but they do exist. There's lots of little drone things for them to fight. So, lots of little nameless goons that don't really look like any characters, but it gives you an idea. It gives you something to kind of root for them to blow up. So, the last shot of the movie we get is Mirage throwing this thing onto Noah's hand, and it starts grafting into place. He tells him to take the wheel. No context as to what that means. If that is just his way of driving, if that's going to give him some kind of like special bond to Mirage, a la the sleeves in Earthspark. No idea. No idea. But it is something to think about. It might create a bond between Noah and Mirage that hasn't existed in Transformers live action yet. So potentially something interesting. But as like an end trailer stinger, doesn't really get explained much. Not at all, really. We do get one more cool action shot of Bumblebee, though, so that's a thing. So that's my breakdown. That's my thoughts in general. We went from hearing this movie is a mess and they're trying to fix it up, and all these different elements they were throwing into the movie and trying to figure out exactly what this movie is going to be. And now it seems very straightforward what this movie is going to be. So MacGuffin is found by humans. Terracons get summoned to Earth. They find the Maximals. Unicron's on alert, so now Unicron's on the way. They have to deal with the Terracon threat on Earth, and then, know that Unicron is like the looming threat that we're going to spend more movies solving. That's the direction. That feels like the movie. And then we can all come back here when the movie drops and see how correct I was. Or maybe I could be completely off. Who knows? But like I said, a lot of these ideas were also picked up on by Chrome Tyranno, so this is not a hard conclusion to make, but I don't want people to think I'm ripping them off. It's just like, yeah, that just seems like the direction the movie's going to go in. But thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, the movie does at least look interesting. Like, obviously I'm going to watch it, I'm going to review it, and then we just wait and see what happens then. So thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.